Good morning, everybody. Thank you for attending MBC's annual membership meeting and elections for 2020. We're online because of current circumstances. I'd like now to invite our chairman, Mr. Ed Chua, to officially call this meeting to order. Mr. Chua.
Thank you very much, Coco, and good morning. I now call the annual meeting of the Makati Business Club for 2020 to order. May I ask our secretary, Mr. Carlitos Cruz, to inform if the body of the notice of the annual meeting was sent to the members of the club? Mr. Secretary?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The first notice of the annual meeting was sent by the Secretariat on June 10, 2020 to the members of the club on record.
Okay, thank you. Can you kindly certify if we have a quorum for the meeting?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. We have at least 231 corporate members represented in person or by proxy in this annual meeting, counting for more than 50% of the club's 388 corporate members to date.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. The next item is the approval of the minutes of the previous annual meeting of the club, which was held 24th of June 2019. The Secretariat sent a copy of the minutes to all members via electronic mail on the 10th of June 2020 to give everyone an opportunity to read it in advance.
Mr. Chairman, Raymond Azurin from Zulik Pharma, I move that we dispense with the reading of the minutes of the previous annual meeting and that the same minutes be approved.
Mr. Chairman, Jig Reyes of Avaya Philippines. I second the motion.
Thank you. A motion has been made and duly seconded that the reading of the minutes of the MBC annual meeting of 24th June 2019 be dispensed with and that the same minutes be approved. Are there any objections? With your permission, ladies and gentlemen, you all know that the world has changed so much in the last few months. And it seems that 2019 has become very, very different and irrelevant. Everyone's plans for 2020 and the future have changed. MBC's as well. But allow me to share some highlights before returning to what everyone calls the new normal. While you may be most familiar with our membership events, MBC was organized and has always been focused on advocating global competitiveness and good government, even as this change in continued support for this. In 2019, tax reform remained a high priority. As discussions over the administration's second package, corporate taxes and incentives moved through their second year, we represented business sector interests in meetings with the Department of Finance, House and Ways and Means Committee officials. In May of this year, we gave our unqualified support for this legislation, which is now named CREATE. Still on legislation, we supported the passage of the rice tariffication law to ease imports and lower rice prices. When there was pressure to suspend this law, we, together with other business groups, reiterated our support while committing ourselves to assist farmers. NBC had separate dialogues with 3 newly elected Metro Manila mayors. As you can see here, these are the 3 mayors that we actually had the dialogue with. Metro Manila mayors and the business community. Major topics discussed were ease of doing business in society in Manila, and streamlining of business permits and license renewal processes in Makati. As part of our aspiration to support the Philippines' global competitiveness, we made the big push to bring insights and ideas to our members from around the world. Previous slide, please. I think you can see here that we have engaged a lot of Filipinos who have done very well overseas. And next slide, we have also engaged with world leaders. You can see here the Malaysian Prime Minister, Singaporean President, and the founder of Grameen, Mr. Muhammad Yunus. We worked with the OECD on responsible agricultural supply chains and risk management and business integrity. With our local partners, Philippine Business Coalition for Women Empowerment and the Philippine Women's Economic Network, we advocated women in the C-suite with global partners including UN Women and the European Union. We joined and organized several STEM and innovation activities with USAID's Science, Technology, Research and Innovation for Development project and Unilab's STEM Leadership Alliance. The virus, which we thought would disrupt the global economy for a few months, is now on its 6th month of spreading sickness, death, hunger, and economic pain on a scale none of us have lived through with no clear end in sight yet. Through these challenging times, MBC leaders and members have exemplified the values we stand for by supporting through donations of cash, food, medical equipment. The government by providing resources, data, and advice, bringing private sector perspective. This is our responsibility, which your support and counsel enable us to do. We pray for your safety and look forward to continuing to work with and for you as we help our countrymen and we rebuild our businesses and our country. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and this ends my report. Next on our agenda is the presentation of the financial report for 2019. And let me now call our treasurer, Ms. Rizalina Mantaring.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Financial statements for the year 2019. These financial statements were audited by the firm PwC Philippines, Isla Lipana and Company, and these were duly approved by the club's Board of Trustees. The following report only covers MBC's unrestricted accounts, because restricted accounts which are managed by MBC but owned by other groups are only covered in the financial statements. We expected to return to profit in 2019, but we had a deficit because of an accounting rose from 0.6 million to 2.9 million. Income rose to 18.5 million from 15.3 million as membership fees increased 8%, reflecting higher membership of 388. Pursuing new strategies, advertising income jumped 500% as we got event sponsors in earnest for the first time. Admission fees by 250% as we featured foreign-based speakers, and other income by 200% as we secured more funded projects. We also raised 1.1 million from you to contribute to PBSP's Alay Mindanao project following the earthquakes there. Expenses rose to 19 million from 17.4 million, most of the increase being a non-cash item related to retirement benefits. We had a higher than expected retirement benefit expense amounting to 1.8 million, resulting from a switch to accrual method in computing our retirement benefit liability from the actuarial method as mandated in the PFRS for small entities. Salaries, bonuses, and allowances, and rent, our biggest items, were little changed. Overall, we had a deficit of 500,000 pesos, narrower than the 2.1 million in 2018. Assets increased to 25.5 million from 23.6 million as cash jumped to 2.9 million for 2019 from 600,000 in 2018, thanks to our higher income. Liabilities increased to 13.2 million from 9.8 million due to the increase in our retirement benefit liability, which was explained earlier, and membership fees collected in advance. While the latter indicates collection efficiency, it impacts booked liabilities. As a result, fund balance was 7.08 million compared with 7.58 million in 2018. This year, COVID-19 has affected our plans, operations, and projections as it has done to almost all other organizations. We have cut expenses, including salaries and staff, while continuing our service to you, membership events and policy advocacy, with new formats and tools. Despite all measures taken, however, we expect our financials to be impacted as with most other organizations. That concludes the club's financial report for 2019. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Vila. Are there any questions regarding the chairman's report and financial report for 2019? We would like to entertain any questions at this point. Seems both reports are very clear. We have not received any question yet. So if there are no more questions, may we now proceed to the approval of the chairman's report and the financial report for the year 2019, as well as to the ratification the previous MBC annual meeting, which was held on June 24, 2019.
Mr. Chairman, this is James Velasquez from PTNT. I move for the approval of the annual report of the chairman and the audited financial statements for 2019, as well as the ratification of all the acts and resolution of the MBC board since the previous annual meeting.
Mr. Chairman, Mon Fernandez here of Maynila. I second motion.
A motion has been made and duly seconded for the approval of the chairman's report and the audited financial statements for 2019 and the ratification of all acts and resolutions of the Board of Trustees since the last annual meeting, which was held last year. Are there any objections? There being none, the motion is carried. And the next item in our agenda is the Board of Trustees elections, which will be discussed by our Executive Director, Coco Alcuaz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to take a few time to explain our election process. According to our bylaws, each corporate member can have up to 2 individual members, but only the senior member, whom we refer to as the first member, may vote or be elected to the board. Thus, while all individual members received our communications about today's meeting, all of our communications stated that only first members can vote, including filling up the ballot form you received as early as last night. Similar to previous years, MBC members elect the members of the Board of Trustees on a staggered basis for 2-year terms. This year, the terms of 5 trustees are expiring. Thus, there are 5 seats that need to be filled in the elections. After MBC made the call for nominations, we asked the nominees to confirm their willingness to serve. 7 members accepted their inclusion in the list of nominees, including all of the incumbents. As you enter this online meeting, first members and proxies were asked to fill up the ballot forms, checking up to 5 names for the board seats that need to be filled. For members who are unable to join us today, we requested them to submit a proxy form by June 19, 2020. You have until the end of this meeting to fill up those ballot forms if you haven't filled them up yet. The results of the elections will be announced later today via a general memo to all MBC members. The 5 nominees who garner the most number of votes will be elected to the Board of Trustees and serve until June 30, 2022. May I ask if there are any questions regarding this process? If there are none, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me now to return the floor to the chairman to discuss the appointment of the external auditor.
Thank you, Coco. For the audit of MBC's financial statements for 2020, the Board of Trustees, via email communication last June 23, 2020, approved the renewal of the engagement of Ista Lipana and Company, a Philippine member firm of the PricewaterhouseCoopers Global Network, to perform the external audit of MBC's financial statements for the year ending December 31, 2020. Do you have the approval of the body for this engagement?
Could we ask any of the members to make that motion?
Mr. Chairman, this is Raymond Azurin. I move for the approval of the appointment of Isla Lipana and Company as the external auditor of MBC's financial statements for 2020.
I second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
A motion has been made and duly seconded the approval of the appointment of Isla Lipana and Company as external auditor of the club's 2020 financial statements. Are there any objections? Yes? Someone wants to speak? No? Okay. There being no objection, the motion is carried. We now move to the next item on the agenda, which is other matters. May I ask if there are any matters that anyone would like to take up at this point in time? Okay, if there are no other matters, since all the items in the agenda has been taken up, may we now have a motion to adjourn?
Hello, good morning. This is Anne-Marie Coraminas of PepsiCo, and Mr. Chairman, I move that the annual meeting be adjourned.
Mr. Chairman, this is G. Reyes of Avaya Philippines. I second the motion.
On motion duly seconded, this meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you very much, Riza, Itos, Coco, and everyone for joining this year's annual membership meeting. Keep safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Congratulations to all.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you to all the board.
Congratulations, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you to all the
Thank
all
you.
those who presented the motions. Thank you very much, and all the board members who attended and all the members who attended. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coco.
And
Thank
efficient.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
20
Thank you,
minutes.
Coco.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coco.
20 minutes.
That must be the fastest
Oh.
meeting.
Next year.
How I wish I could do the same.
Okay. All right. See
Thank you very much, everybody.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.